Today, I rise before this honorable house to submit a portion of a much larger budget than we ever had before. And this budget was planned and developed to liberate our country. Yes, that from the social and economic and political morass into which we inherited it over the last 9 months. I wish to congratulate the Honorable Winston Jordan and his team and his staff as well for having worked tirelessly to produce a budget that has addressed all classes of our society. Indeed, the private sector, trade unions, the churches, the Chamber of Commerce, everywhere have heaped praise on this budget. When the unions itself, the TUC, has come out in fulsome praise, you can understand that Mr. Jordan has succeeded in being able to address the ills of society at all levels. I would have wished that the PPPC had taken up the invitation to be part of the consultation process. Had they done that today, many of the speeches that we are hearing here would have had a different tenor. Rather than just going through the motion of saying what you feel you have to say in attacking, for the sake of attacking, you would have been able to say what ought to be done to improve it, while at the end of the debate, we could look forward to you joining with us and having a unanimous decision to carry it forward. This, therefore, is a very good budget.
Yes.
One that offers a workable, reasonable, and strategic roadmap for a brilliant future for all Guyanese. I therefore commend such a budget to all of society. And this even includes the PPP, if they were, at the end of this debate, can see the light. Mr. Speaker, my remit is to address this honorable house on matters of labor. The compartment of that program is as follows: labor, occupational health and safety, central recruitment and manpower development, statistics, which includes labor market information system, MIS, industrial training under the superintendence of the Board of Industrial Training and the cooperative department. Mr. Speaker, I've listed the co-ops last. That is not the least important. In fact, on the contrary, it is the most important sector. This is both a deliberate and a strategic decision of mine. Deliberate because it was discovered that during the immediate past decades, the philosophy and practice of the cooperativism was disgracefully stifled. But in this new dispensation, we are determined to reverse this shameful situation and put back the cooperative movement as one of the 3 pillars that underpinned this nation as the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. This government, therefore, is committed to ensuring that the economic development of this country and this nation is underscored by our doing our best to once more bring back co-ops from the level of the schools onto the level where you're working and having builders co-ops and fishermen co-ops, but that are really and truly co-ops. To that part and to that area, we have an allocation of $445.3 million out of our allocation of $13 billion, $13.7 billion to our ministry as a whole. We will be using part of that to restructure and to reorganize our cooperative department, which has become dysfunctional. So, a small team to that end of individuals with an aggregate of over 100 years of experience in cooperatives and the management of cooperatives have been put in place, starting from February the 1st, to conduct a forensic audit of the cooperative function. I know that's a word that strikes a lot of fear in the hearts of some people, but we must know where we are so that we can go forward. We are convinced that the audit will advise us on the crafting. Housing has exposed you. Yes. We will have crafted of policies designed to repair the numerous breaches that create an entity capable of advancing national development. A key and critical aspect of the aforementioned audit is a determination of the number of cooperatives that are in existence. We believe that there are certain organizations out there at this moment of time masquerading as co-ops. It was always so. You remember when Burnham started the co-ops, so many builders suddenly became co-ops? And we know what went on under that, guys. It still exists, and we are looking into that. The main efficacy of the illicit activities that are going on, that is fueling money laundering among the co-ops. This we intend to expose. Sir, we have recently commenced and intend to continue training and to conduct awareness sessions for our co-ops. Those forces who are engaged in anti-money laundering and countering the financial terrorism for the personnel in that sector will be exposed. During the latter half of 2015, a total of 65 such sessions have already been conducted. Not only are they being taught about cooperatives, but we are also focusing on the illegal aspect that people engaged in money laundering have been using the co-op as a cover. Piracy should give you a pointer to where I'm heading. We are also going to be decertifying those co-ops that we find that are dysfunctional. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I wish to disclose that just 2 weeks ago, our labor officers were exposed to a course that in-house, that we had attorneys at law, experts in anti-money laundering, SARU experts, who came and lectured to them, so that they are now sensitized as to what to look for when they go about the duties in the field. Additionally, we are also working along with the Board of Industrial Training, TVET, Kuru College, and Critchlow Labour College to position these people to understand that the co-ops must be on the front burner, where it will once again play a meaningful role in the economy of this country. On the 24th of October 1970, at the inauguration of the National Co-op Bank, the head of the state at the then time, LFS Burnham, said, and I quote, "We have chosen the vehicle of the cooperatives as the means whereby we, the friendless of the earth," but that shows you that if we can recognize goodness, that's why when you kill 400 people, we can accept it. Well, sorry, sir. The disinherited.
Honourable Member, I would ask you to stay focused on your presentation. I would ask the other honourable members to remember that they too are subject to the standing orders about not distracting speakers.
Thank you, sir. As I was quoting from Burnham, he said, we have chosen the vehicle of the cooperatives as a means whereby we, the friendless of the earth, the disinherited, those who for centuries have been kicked and spat upon, should be combining our resources, bring to our country economic independence. In this way, our political significance and predominance in this community, in this nation of Guyana, should be reflected in economic terms through the cooperative division of the Office of the Prime Minister, in consultation with the Ministries of Economic Development and Education. We shall undertake the necessary training, using from time to time the agency of the cooperative union, which is basically,
I have relied on you to be faithful to the rules which guide us here. Sadly, some members seem to forget that they are under an obligation to observe those rules. I would ask those members who know who they are to kindly remember those rules and do not require the speaker to go beyond talking. Thank you. Please proceed.
the Ministries of Economic Development and Education. We shall undertake the necessary training using from time to time agency of the cooperative union, which is basically a federation of cooperatives. Strategic because philosophically we are committed to give true meaning to the name of our beloved country, which is the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Since 1992, we experienced a national disaster in the form of a change of government, which among its legacy was the almost total obliteration of the cooperative division. For want of a better description, cooperativism in Guyana is almost non-existent. Mr. Speaker, you must remember that the cooperative college produced many people. It did one purpose, if nothing else. It served to educate those persons who their mothers and fathers forgot to give them that little bit of culture, and they were able to be rescued. That in some cases, I wish when it comes back, we can send some more people back to that college for rehabilitation. In China, they had a way, had to go back to relearn. There's still needs for that. Mr. Speaker, the focus of the co-op movement is hereby summarized. 1, the formation of cooperatives as serious economic and business entities in all 10 administrative regions. Even the remotest parts of our country, cooperatives will once again emerge and breathe afresh again. 2, explore and take every advantage of any and every opportunity to engage strategically with the Ministry of Business for marketing services and other economic purposes. 3, working closely with the Lands and Surveys Department so that access to lands for economic ventures can be pursued. 4, the resuscitation of the thrift societies in schools. Mr. Speaker, I need not emphasize the tremendous benefits which can be derived from a revitalized cooperative department. But I wish to let it be known that the same interests and energies to be devoted to the co-ops would likewise be directed to friendly societies insofar as efficiency in their management is concerned. Permit me, sir, at this juncture to direct our attention to what is commonly known as labor administration, which at the moment encompasses both industrial relations and occupational health and safety. Unhesitantly, let me say that traditionally, these disciplines were practiced and managed by 2 separate and distinct departments, staffed by professionals and specialists in their own right. But for some strange reason, after 2007, the upshot was that these 2 departments were merged. Not only were specialists converted into generalists, but a serious decline in the effectiveness of the service to the public happened. Performance indicate that the department leaves much to desire to improve. For example, at the end of the year 2015, that department received a total of 1,833 complaints, which represent 47.34% or 589 more than the previous year. Of the complaints received, only 1,122 or 61.21% were completely resolved. This reflects a decline of 1.22%. In terms of labor inspections, a total of 597 were completed, representing an increase of 12.64% over the last year. With respect to the management of industrial accidents, the fortunes of the department were abysmal. The department places a high premium on the prevention and investigation of accidents in the workplace. During the just concluded year, an aggregate of 492 workplace accidents resulting in 24 fatalities were reported into the department. But only 40% or 201 of those accidents were investigated. Indeed, while all of the fatal accidents were investigated and corrective recommendations were submitted to the relevant authorities, the shortcomings of that department insofar as its ability to monitor for preventative purposes continue to prevail. This, as a consequence, is a lack of resources, including financial and material. Mr. Speaker, most of the fatalities referred to above occurred in the hinterland and mining areas, which is not easy to access. Even though we have been greatly assisted by the GGMC, and we are grateful to them, our ability to effectively monitor workplaces in the hinterland region is limited. Fortunately for us, our government has recognized these shortcomings and have now initiated further action through the Ministry of Natural Resources under the Honorable Trotman and Honorable Brooms to help along in that area. We expect, therefore, to see a greater investigation and effectiveness as the time goes by. We are grateful to them for our ability to monitor those places now better. Further, the fact that our department will now be staffed by generals rather than specialists, those shortcomings are more manifest. But again, we are moving to correct that. The department's performance over the years under the merger has never been impressive. We have been unable to meet our inspection targets, but we believe that it will now be reversed, seeing that we are now about to delink from the two together. Once again, specialists will have a chance to rise. We are going to make sure that it's done not in a hurry-up way, but incrementally. For starters, the delinking is intended to give the development of specialist officers capable of delivering a better quality of service. In addition, they would be exposed to professional training, both in local and international environment. We therefore anticipate positive outcomes from these initiatives and expect a higher level of compliance from employers as we move through those who we know have a proclivity for not obeying the laws. Of significance is the fact that some regulations that govern under occupational safety and health, Chapter 99(1) not, which needs to be finalized with some degree of urgency. Mining, for example, noise, chemical, forestry, manufacturing, these have to be looked at again and updated. It is our belief that as we are moving to have changes, positive change will result. Mr. Speaker, Because of the age of many of our labor legislation, we are contemplating on extending those ways, those laws into the area where not only mining and the interior be looked at, but also the Labor Act will be revised. The Termination of the Employment and Severance Pay Act will be revised. The Minimum Wage Act, Order number 2013, will be looked at again. And other significant amendments that we know is needed in this current environment will be looked at. After all, we are heading towards a position where we're dealing with oil that coming on stream. We have other investors are now telling us that this is our country to do business with. Investors are now expressing relief that this new government can give them that feeling that the climate is right for investment. We are therefore thinking in terms of making sure that our people are protected. Exploitation will now end, and we are therefore moving to have those laws adjusted accordingly. Mr. Speaker, conflict and dispute resolution is a key and a critical function of the Labor Department. It is for this very reason that conflict resolution has been given the kind of prominence that it has been afforded in the last year. Comrade Trotman is one of those persons who spearheaded the idea to improve conflict resolution. The reason why you may be seeing some disputes may be dragged on is because there was not enough skills at the level of my department. That has been addressed. We are doing in-service training right now. And conflict resolution is on the front burner. Hence, those persons who are out there, who were silent in the past and is making noise now about having disputes come to an end. We are here only 9 months. And in that 9 months, we have moved this country from 23 years of nonsensical corruption to a level where these things are being addressed. We are saying the situation to have persuasive skills and high-powered attorneys in our side of the table will now be put aboard. So that when we have to go to court to meet up with lawyers like our worthwhile ex-attorney general, we'll have people capable of being able to defend the issues that we are defending. Some disputes may drag on for years. Rusal, Ghana Bauxite Union, which for years have been going, will now be on the front burner to be properly addressed with our labor officers. And let me make it clear, those things are to be addressed at the level of labor officers. And that is what we are going to make sure they are properly trained and prepared for. The industrial court is one of the reasons that we are saying and training our people. We don't want us to have to go to court all the time and spend years bogged down. So we are pushing to have an industrial court on stream. In this regard, a tripartite committee established against the backdrop of the ILO Convention number 144 was asked to explore the most appropriate model so that we can move forward as quickly as possible. And we have every confidence that this tribunal will be in place shortly. We intend to maintain a calm, stable industrial climate conducive to investment, not only to those overseas, but to those Guyanese who want to come back home and also invest. I need not comment on the economic cost of strikes. Suffice it to say that they have had a negative impact on the national coffers, particularly when they occur in any of the industries which are add significantly to our GDP. Mr. Speaker, in the year just concluded, the department had a total of 191 strikes, which consumed 71,591 man days. Interestingly enough, the previous year, 2014, had 197 strikes, which accounted for 32,064 man days. An analysis of these figures means, sir, that while 2015 there were fewer strikes, the duration of those strikes was much longer and are therefore a cause for concern. For example, the approximate man days lost per strike in 2014 was 163, while in 2015 the average loss was 375. This is just another form of saying that in 2015, striking workers were more than double resolved than they were in 2014. I take no comfort in such a situation. We are merely examining the traditional early warning system with a view of strengthening where possible and introducing it to areas for the first time. If you have an early warning system, anybody who wants to go on a wildcat strike, we will have people on the ground that can address those concerns immediately. And therefore we can prevent strikes that just pop up just like that. So the early warning system worked in the sugar belt years ago. We are bringing it back again so that we can address workers' concern on the spot and help prevent people not only doing that, but prevent people using workers, riding on the backs of workers and taking what is not the case to be the case. Once they're identified, it will be eliminated. Mr. Speaker, a moment ago I spoke about the tripartite.
Remember, you have 5 minutes remaining.
Mr. Speaker, may I move that the honourable member be given 5 minutes as an extension to this time allotted to him.
I thank the honourable member for his statement. Honourable member, you will now speak for 5 minutes beyond the time allotted you. The time allotted you was 30 minutes. You will now speak 5 minutes beyond that time.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. We were the other part we were examining the generous amount allocated to sports, education, culture, transportation, health, and other services. We can't avoid the manifestation of growth in our economy. We have been addressing the fact that we have these allocations, 40 billion going to education, is because we are thinking that our society has to be brought back to a level where we can prepare people to fit into all sectors. If they can get this through, we'll be in a better position to fulfill our manifesto, end of fragmentation and restoring solidarity, as well as making sure that there are no longer dropouts in the system. Mr. Speaker, we are trying to bring about trade union unity. To this extent, we want our manifesto pledged to end the fragmentation and to restore solidarity and dignity to the labor movement. It is necessary to heal the long festering disputes. To do that, sir, every single opportunity to bring about any unity must be taken, and without it being seen as political. We have invited unions to get together, asking them to forget the past, to remember the bitterness that they all feel at the end of every Labor Day, and to move to the point where they can organize their own Labor Day rally. We have no interest in it. Our interest is just to see that the workers come into their own at last. Unity, therefore, is what we are encouraging. We have nothing to gain, but if the workers decide to go on one platform, until that end, they have already issued a press release that 14 out of 17 unions have said that they're determined to march as one on Labor Day. What more could you ask for? And we are saying that I'm inviting you, the other side, to be with us and understand that. Let us demonstrate that there are some areas that we can all think as one. We can think as one as a nation. We can think as one people. And we can encourage others, like the trade union movement, to get back to being one as they were under the great hero, Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow. We have heroes. There was one. Let us absorb and take away and throw away those persons who wish to perpetrate the process, right? Let's get rid of those persons who are bent on destroying the labor movement, destroying the political movement. And remember that we want to have one nation, one people, with one destiny. I invite you, therefore, to see the budget as the beginning of where you can get together, where you can heal the nation. This nation has a future. Time we start to think like Guyanese. We have to stop thinking about in terms of race. There have been bad things happening to our society. Those bad things will have to be paid. Nobody can kill people or steal and get away with it. But those, we must be able to recognize that we're not looking for revenge. We are looking for coming together and looking after the bad part. Let's do that and forget that. Stop behaving as if you're still children. When we talk seriously, we try to make it look light. But we have commitment to everything we say, and I commend to you again, the budget is one of the ways that we can be pointed forward. We can go forward into something progressive. So I thank you very much for listening.